Hey guys, it's Paul here with GearTest TV, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Dominion one-person tent from Outdoor Vitals. So a couple of quick specs. This is a freestanding double-walled backpacking tent. At the time of this video, it sells for $199, and all together, it weighs in at 3.09 pounds, which is 49.4 ounces, or 1.405 kilograms. So before I go over everything that's included in that weight, I'll quickly just go over the bag. It has two straps that run around the outside of the bag just to tighten everything down, keep it compact and small. There is a plastic clip with some drawstring at the top for opening it up, and the end of this can be used as a handle to pull everything out of the bag. So this is everything that comes with the tent. We have the tent poles, the footprint. The footprint actually comes with the tent. We have the stakes, the tent itself, and the rain fly, and now you should be seeing the individual weights of each item on the screen. So the tent comes with 8 of these aluminum stakes. I really like them. They're super lightweight, and I have yet to bend one of them. And then it comes with this tent pole repair tube in case you bend or break one of your tent poles. It has this little tube you can slide over that break. I keep it in the bag with my stakes. Now, one thing to be aware of when you set up this tent is that it does have a tapered design, which means it's wider at one end than it is at the other. And it also only has a door on one side, so you have to make sure you have your footprint oriented correctly. To set up the tent, first lay out the footprint and stake it down. You don't have to stake it down, but it does make attaching the poles a little bit easier. Next, you will unfold the tent poles and attach them to the footprint. Now, the pole set does have an asymmetrical design, so make sure you match up the end with the longer legs to the wider end of the footprint, and vice versa for the shorter end. Next, you can bring in the tent, attach the corners to the stakes and/or tent poles, then simply snap the 7 plastic clips onto the tent poles and slide the crossbar into the 2 sleeves at the top. Last but not least is the rain fly, which you attach to the tent poles at the 4 corners and then stake out at the vestibules. There are also guy wires on all 4 sides of the rain fly, so you can stake those out if needed. Also on the rain fly, there are 2 vents which can be propped open just to add a little bit of extra ventilation. One final note about the setup is that all of the straps on the narrow end are this gray color, and all of the straps on the wide end are black, which just helps a lot with knowing which end is which when you're setting up. In fact, after filming this video, I ended up adding a small piece of black tape to the wide end of the tent poles, just so I can easily match up that end of the poles with the black straps whenever I need to set up quickly. Okay, so now that I have the tent all set up, I'll go through some of the materials that they've used. The mesh is a 15 denier mesh, and as you can see, that covers the majority of the tent. From my experience, there's plenty of ventilation. It does a good job of keeping the condensation at bay. The bathtub floor, which you can see is quite tall, it's made out of a 30D ripstop nylon, and it has a siliconized coating on the outside. And then the rain fly is a 15D ripstop nylon with that same siliconized coating. Now the tent has a peak height of 35 inches, and I'm 6'1", so you can see that I can sit straight up, and I'm not actually scraping the top of the tent, but I am touching this little loop here, but that's something else I'll point out. It's nice to have a little loop here if you need to hang a lantern or a headlamp or some type of light from the top of your tent. They have a loop to do that. Now there's not a whole lot going on at the narrower foot end of the tent. The one thing I will point out is that it is a nice steep curve up, so you have plenty of room at the foot box, and the foot end is 28 inches wide. Now looking at the head of the tent, it's 32 inches wide, so there's a 4-inch difference between the foot of the tent and the head of the tent. And then you can see that we also have 2 storage pockets up here if you need to place your phone or a wallet or whatever other gear you might need to place up here. And then you can see that this is also the one that has the longer feet on the poles. Hopefully that makes sense, but it basically just means that you have even more room at the head of the tent. So say if you need to sit up in the middle of the night, you're not scraping your head against the top of the tent. Now, as for space inside the tent, it is a 1-person tent, so there's not a lot of extra room. There's plenty of room for your sleeping pad, plenty of room for sleeping, but you'd have to get pretty creative if you wanted to put your pack inside the tent with you. I mean, there's not a lot of extra room. But again, it is a one-person tent, so that's to be expected. Okay, so I've now zipped up the vestibule and I've placed my iPhone XR here just to kind of give you a size reference of how much space there is under this vestibule. Plenty of space for your pack, your boots, any other little gear that you might need to toss under the vestibule to keep any rain or snow from getting on it at night. One of the great things about this design is that you can use it with just the rain fly and the footprint. So if you want to cut out some weight, leave the tent body at home, you can do that. The other great thing about that is that if you wake up one morning and it's pouring down rain, you can actually pack up the tent from under the rain fly, and then all you have left to pack up is the rain fly and the footprint. All right, so with all of that said, I will give you guys kind of my final thoughts on this tent. I only have about 5 nights in it so far, but I have been really impressed with it. The build quality is excellent, and that didn't surprise me. I've used Outdoor Vitals products for a couple of years now, and everything that I've gotten from them has been excellent. So I was really impressed with the build quality. There's nothing on the tent that feels cheap. I love how lightweight it is, so I don't feel like I'm having to make any sacrifices to take a double wall freestanding tent, and it's also at a great price point. I've been really impressed with it. I would recommend that you check it out if you're in the market for a one-person tent, so I'll have a link in the description below so you can check it out for yourself. If you have any questions for me, you can leave them in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time.